Hello, grade 1. Today our lesson is about measurement. Our lesson will be divided into two parts. In the first part, we're going to learn how to order objects by length. In the second part, we're going to learn how to tell time using an analog clock. Rosa has an object that's longer than this drinking straw. Which of these objects does Rosa have? First, let's try the crayon. Line it up with the drinking straw. Look at the end of the straw and at the end of the crayon. Is the end of the crayon longer than the end of the straw? No, so the crayon is not longer than the straw. So this is not the object Rosa has. Let's try the paper clip. Line it up with the straw. Look at the end of the straw and the end of the paper clip. Is the end of the paper clip longer than the end of the straw? No. So, the paper clip is not longer than the straw, and this is not the object Rosa has. How about the blue ribbon? Line it up with the straw. Look at the end of the straw and the end of the ribbon. Is the end of the ribbon longer than the end of the straw? Yes. So the ribbon is longer than the straw, and this is the object Rosa has. Rosa has another object. The object is shorter than this key. Which object does Rosa have? First, let's try with the crayon. Line it up with the key. Look at the end of the key and the end of the crayon. Is the end of the crayon shorter than the end of the key? No. So the crayon is not shorter than the key. So this is not the object Rosa has. Let's try the paper clip. Line it up with the key. Look at the end of the key and the end of the paper clip. Is the end of the paper clip shorter than the end of the key? Yes, so the paper clip is shorter than the key. So this is the object Rosa has. Now, let's compare the straw and the key. Which is longer? The straw is longer. When they're lined up, the straw is longer than the key. Now, with this short video, you're going to prepare for the second part of the lesson.
Let's learn about telling time so I can make it to my basketball game. Here is an analog clock. This clock is a training clock and only has the hour hand on it. Whenever the hour hand points to one of the numbers, we can read the hour. Right now, the time is 1 o'clock. We say o'clock to represent the hour or the beginning of an hour. What time is it right now? It is 4 o'clock. Great job, guys! What hour is it right now? It is 10 o'clock. Great job! This clock is a great training clock, and we already learned about clocks with the minute hand, so let's take a look at the big clock. On this clock, we have both an hour hand and a minute hand. Right now, the time on the clock is 6 o'clock. We say o'clock when the minute hand points straight up because it is on the hour. What time is it right now? It is 7 o'clock. Great job again! On the right side I have a digital clock, which as we learned before shows time but only using numbers. Both of these clocks show 7 o'clock. The digital clock shows 7 for the hour and the two zeros show the minutes. Right now the hour is 7 and the minutes are 0, so we say 7 o'clock. This time stuff is really cool, guys. Now that we know what o'clock means, it is time to learn about half hours so I can know when to go to my basketball game. Right now the time is 7 o'clock, but watch this. The minute hand is moving around the clock, but you will also notice that the hour hand is moving as well. While the minute hand went all the way around the clock, the hour hand moved from the 7 to the 8. That means 1 hour went by. For the minute hand to go all the way around the clock, it has to go around 60 minutes. So 60 minutes is how long it takes for the minute hand to go around the clock once. I am going to take the minute hand halfway around the clock. Where would the minute hand point to if it just went halfway around the clock? Let's see. Mr. Clock, would you please move your minute hand halfway around the clock? Now we can see that the minute hand has gone halfway around the clock and has stopped at the 6. The small numbers on this clock are the minutes. The minute stopped at what number? The minute hand is pointing to the 30-minute mark. Halfway around the clock is 30 minutes. Great job, kids! The hour hand is in between the 8 and the 9. While the minute hand went halfway around the clock, the hour hand only moved halfway between the 8 and the 9. This is confusing, because I do not know the hour. Do you think the hour is 8 or 9? The hour is still 8, even though it is past the 8. When the hour hand points right at a number, it starts the hour. It stays that hour until it reaches the next number. Right now the hour hand is past the 8 halfway, and we see that the minute hand is pointing to the 30. We can say that the time is 8:30 o'clock. This happens to be the time that my school starts in the morning. My parents said that school starts at 8:30, and now I know what that means. 8:30. Wow, this time stuff is awesome! We have two clocks here, the analog clock on the left and the digital clock on the right. The digital clock shows 8:30 and the analog clock shows 8:30 as well. The 8 shows the hour and the 30 shows the minutes that have passed. If we were to write the time, we would write it just like the digital clock shows. Can you tell me what time it is now? The time is 12:30, or we could say it is 12:30. Great job, kids! We can see that a half hour or 30 minutes have passed since 12 o'clock. If we wanted to write this time, what would it look like? You would write it like you see it on this digital clock. 12 is the hour on the left and 30 minutes is on the right. The time is 12:30 or 12:30. Now that we have learned a lot, can you help me figure out when my basketball game starts? They told me it starts at 3:30. Is this 3:30? No, this is not 3:30. This is 2:30 o'clock. How about now? Is this 3:30? No, this is still not 3:30. What time is this showing? It is showing 3 o'clock. How many more minutes do I have to move the minute hand to get to 3:30? We need to move the minute hand 30 minutes or halfway around the clock. Is the time on the clock 3:30? It is 3:30. Great job! Can you tell me now how to write this time? It would look like this. The time is 3:30. Wow, we have learned so much today and I am so glad you helped me. I better get to my basketball game, so we will see you later. Take care and keep practicing. Goodbye.
Let's practice what we've learned in the video. The time shown is the time to the hour. This is the hour hand. It points to a number on the clock. The number tells you the hour. Look at the number the hour hand is pointing to. What hour is shown on the clock? The hour hand is pointing to the 5, so you write 5 with 2 zeros after the number to name the hour. How would you say this time? It's 5 o'clock. The hour hand points to the 5. It's 5 o'clock. Now what time does this clock show? It doesn't point exactly to a number. The hour hand is between 9 and which other number? The hour hand is between 9 and 10. So the time is between what time and 10? The time is between the hours of 9 and 10. As an hour passes, the hour hand on a clock moves from one number to the next. When a half hour has passed, the hour hand points halfway between two numbers. So what time is it? It's 9:30. Now can you tell me what time does this clock show? If you said 4 o'clock, you're correct. This clock has two hands, an hour hand and a minute hand. At 4 o'clock, the hour hand points to the number 4, and the minute hand points to the number 12. How's the minute hand different from the hour hand? First, the minute hand is longer than the hour hand. The minute hand moves around the clock to show the number of minutes after the hour. Now what about the hour hand? The hour hand is shorter than the minute hand. The hour hand moves in the same direction as the minute hand, but it moves around the clock to show how much of a whole hour has passed. Let's look at another clock. Like the other clock, this clock has an hour hand and a minute hand. But where does the hour hand point? The hour hand points between the 4 and the 5. Where does the minute hand point at 4 o'clock? The minute hand points to the 6. Together, the hour hand and the minute hand on this clock show the time 4 o'clock. How does the hour hand move between 4 o'clock and 4 o'clock? The hour hand moves from the 4 to halfway between the 4 and the 5. How does the minute hand move between 4 o'clock and 4 o'clock? The minute hand moves from the 12 to the 6. An hour has 60 minutes. Each small tick mark on the clock face stands for 1 minute. You can count the minutes starting from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When the minute hand moves from the 12 to the 1, 5 minutes have passed. The minute hand points to show how many minutes past the hour it is. Let's count by 5s around the whole clock. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So there are 60 minutes in one full hour. What time does this clock show? The hour hand points to the 11 and the minute hand points to the 12. So it's 11 o'clock. How many minutes does a half hour have? This clock shows a half hour in blue. A half hour is half the time of an hour. The minute hand moves around the whole circle in 1 hour. So it moves around half the circle in half an hour. So you can count by 5s around half of the clock to find the number of minutes in half an hour. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. A half hour has 30 minutes. This clock shows half time past 11 o'clock. What's another way to show half past 11 o'clock? Another way to show half past 11 o'clock is 11:30. Bye bye.